Yo, this your boy Ty Brasel, and you are rocking with CHHNation.com. Yeah, man. So 1994 Until, it was really it's a special project to me. You know, it's the first I've released, obviously, since Cloud9 Raps, and I'm super excited about it because I've grown a lot as an artist and as a person. And so I'm just excited to see what God's gonna do with it. And as far as the name, so the name just represents, you know, the year I was born was 1994, and it just talks about the grace of God, to say that He's kept me from 1994 until. And not only that, but I will never die. You know, there won't be an end to my birth certificate. You know, I will live forever with Him. And so it's just magnifying His grace.
Good stuff. So what's your favorite track off the EP?
My favorite track off the EP? Man, that's a great question. I don't really have one, man. I can't say. Like, it changes every day. I'll listen to a song and be like, man, I love this. Then I'll listen to another one and be like, this is my joint. But I can't really say what my favorite one is, because each one of them is special to me in a different way, but I'll let the listener decide, because everybody will come up with their favorite. But I can't really choose one. If I had to say one right now, it'd probably be the intro. I love the intro, but it changes every day. So.
Good stuff. I love the intro too. That's probably my favorite. Explain a little bit about the intro, the story you're trying to paint, or you know, the vision that it sets for the EP.
Yeah, so the intro is really talking about kind of showing my journey. It kind of starts off with me having a conversation with a friend, and it's the setting is supposed to be kind of before I was walking with the Lord, and you know, we're talking about chasing money and going to make a serve to sell drugs and just that lifestyle. And then I start off the song talking about, you know, my journey through that lifestyle and kind of what I used to live for and what I was all about, even though, you know, everyone around me kind of knew that I had a greater purpose. And so it kind of details the fight between, you know, Satan and God, if you will, just the fight between good and evil, the pull from Jesus, but then the pull from the world as well, and trying to fight through that, and God ultimately calling me home. And so yeah, that's about it.
Good stuff, man. One of my other favorite tracks on there is Going for Gold. You know, kind of describe like your vision and making that record, and you got your main man from Miami on the hook. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, so Gold, the record Gold, I've actually had that the longest pretty much out of any of these tracks. And that really birthed out of, man, it's just really a motivational song, man. You know, I always say that God has given us gifts, and I don't even know where the quote comes from, but you know, God has given us a gift or gifts, and our gift to Him is what we do with those, our gift back to Him. And so the song is really about using the gifts that God has given you and chasing after whatever it is that you've been called to do, and giving your all towards it, and you know, really fighting for it, struggling for it, going through and making sacrifices for it. And yeah, Rev Miz, shout out to my the fam, man, just awesome guy. He did it for me really quickly, and he killed it, and it turned out to be a great song. So
dope, man. And you know, one of my other favorites, I mean, it kills everywhere you go, Sweeter Love, man. Talk about the grace of God. So
it's funny, nobody ever gets it right, but that's all good, because the name of the song is actually First Love, but the theme of the song is Sweeter Love, and it says so much that, you know, I might as well just nickname it Sweeter Love. But the song is just, once again, just purely about the grace of God, and how in my attempts to run from God, in my attempts to chase after things of this world, you know, even after God saved me and after He changed me and He made things in my life blessed, you know, He blessed me, and yet I still tried to run to other things to find fulfillment. But yet He was always chasing after me and never let me go, and He kept me through all of my hard-headedness, if that's a word. And so that's one of the most personal tracks to me, because it just really glorifies and magnifies His love and His keeping grace to sustain me.
Good stuff. And you just released a single, New School, featuring Young Noah.
Right.
Talk about that record, and do you feel like you're one of the leaders of the new school of Christian hip hop.
Right. Yeah. So so that's obviously, that's more of a harder record, a more grimy record. You know, I think every album has to have at least one. But it's actually a message to it. You know, it's not just me turning up, me having fun. You know, I feel like that song really is also, you know, I know I called it New School, but one of the main themes of the song is kind of the fight. The enemy is fighting for my soul. He wants me out, you know, he wants me to, you know, and just kind of talking about how the enemy is constantly not just tempting me, but fighting for me and really trying to take me out. And so I really talked about the grace of God in the midst of that. So like I said, the recurring theme for the whole EP is the grace of God, but I kind of talk about it in the different areas of my life. And so on that particular song, you know, where I said, we're the new school, bless the young scholar, it's more so talking about the generation that God is raising up. We're the new school who says, you know, even though the world says this is cool, and even though the world says this is right, we rebel against that. We rebel for what's right. You know, we turn our heads at what the world tells us is right, because we get our moral system, we get what we believe from the Bible and from God. And so that's really more so what New School is talking about, rather than being me being a leader in Christian hip hop. Is more so talking about the generation I'm a part of, turning from the wickedness that this world is so making so prevalent and so cool and seeming good. You know, we're turning from that.
Good stuff, man. Young Noah did his thing on the record as well.
Absolutely, that's my brother. That's my brother, man. Shout out to Young Noah.
Good stuff, man. So what's some of the other tracks that's on the EP, man?
Let's see, did we cover, there's two other ones we didn't cover. So you got Real You, which is about an ex-girlfriend and how, you know, we really had a great relationship and we really had a spiritual connection, and I felt like it could have been the one. Mm-hmm. But you know, she changed. You know, she ended up starting to go to the clubs, and she ended up kind of becoming someone who she wasn't. And so that message, the reason I made that song was kind of to really, I want that to touch home with people. For one, like the girls or the guys who have turned away from who they know they should be and who they know they are, and have changed. And I want them to really realize that this is not who I am, and that I need to go home, because this is not where I belong. And then also for the ones who have been through that, you know, because it's heartbreaking and it hurts, and I want to give them some solace to know you're not alone, and that you know, I've been through it as well, and we'll get through it together.
Good stuff. And we joke about the last one.
Oh yeah, so Backyard.
All the time.
Backyard is I'm not gonna lie, that might be my favorite song. I know I said the intro, but really that song is so personal to me. You know, I talked about a lot of things that are going on in my life and those around me, because the whole theme of the song is the grace of God in our problems. You know, so I explained all these different problems, you know, between my homeboy whose mom died, and me struggling to fight off my flesh, and my brother struggling, you know, with his situation with his daughter, and so on and so forth. My friend who got murdered, other friend who murdered somebody, and how in the midst of all that pain, in the midst of all that suffering, you know, the Bible says, lift your eyes up to God, where your help comes down. And so I really wanted to reiterate that and make that the conclusion. I didn't want to just give these problems and be like, dang, life sucks. I wanted it to be more, okay, how can we deal with this? How can we fight these problems that come our way? How can we rise above that? And I believe the answer is to look to God for your help, and that God will give you grace, and His grace will be sufficient for you in that situation, and you will build a testimony out of it. So that's definitely a personal record for me.
Good stuff. So tell the people where they can pick up the EP, all the social media, and all of that good stuff.
Yeah, so the EP is available on iTunes, Google Play, Amazon, Spotify, Apple Music, all the digital outlets. And I really hope y'all enjoy it. Share it with your friends. You can find me at TY_Brasel, BRASEL.